In today's video, I'm going to show you two most popular ways that people handle emotions. It just so happens that these two ways are very incorrect ways of handling your emotions and letting them go, especially negative emotions, okay? And at the end of the video, I'm also going to show you how to properly deal with your emotions in a very healthy manner that doesn't keep them coming back in a greater and greater intensity. All right, so let's get right into it. The number one way, right, the number one incorrect way that people deal with emotions is that they suppress them. Nobody wants to feel negative emotions. I completely understand that. Negative emotions feel bad. Nobody wants to feel bad. And because we don't want to feel bad, we think that negative emotions are bad and we want to stay away from them as far as possible, as much as possible. And when they do occur to us, we want to pretend that they're not there, or we want to start putting an end to them right away, force them down, and start to, pretend to be something else that we're not. Maybe you're trying to feel better, maybe you're trying to do something else, whatever it is, but you're just trying to put an end to this emotion right away without actually getting to the cause of it. Maybe even you're thinking that this emotion is being imposed on you from the outside. This person is causing me this emotion. This situation is causing me this emotion. This emotion isn't my own choice and it's just happening to me, so I want to end it right now because it does not feel good. I want to run away from it. And so you either pretend it's not there or you do whatever. So that is the number one way that most people usually deal with emotion. And then they pair it up with the second way, the second incorrect way, which is just waiting for it to go away while distracting themselves from it. So first you suppress it and you just don't want to feel it and you're like trying to put an end to it. And then because that energy still doesn't just go away, it stays there. Now because it's still like prevalent in your experience, you just wait for it to subside, still not even like inquiring why it's there, what you're believing to be true that's causing this emotion, just waiting for it to go while distracting yourself with social media or TV or going out with your friends or work. A lot of the people are workaholics is because they just don't want to face a lot of the stuff that they've got going on inside. So they distract themselves. So distraction is a huge way that people deal with emotions, or I should say, not deal with emotions. So one of the things that you'll see with both of these incorrect ways is that it includes running away from the emotion because you don't want to feel bad and not really getting to the bottom of it, not really getting to the cause of it. Never seeing the cause, so that you just see the effect on the surface. You run away from the effect because it doesn't feel good. And all while at the same time, you are blaming external things and people for your feeling this way. Right? So this is just an unconscious cycle that perpetuates itself throughout your life. And the emotions that you have been suppressing and distracting yourselves from throughout your childhood becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. This is anger in some people, right? Depression, any sort of lack of worthiness, just any sort of negative emotion that constantly is being suppressed comes back with greater intensity. Anything that is not being dealt with, it's almost like that energy stays trapped inside of your consciousness. However you want to take it, however it helps you conceptualize this, but it keeps coming back with greater intensity because in a way it is your karma. It is you creating and perpetuating this cycle of unconsciousness. So distracting yourself will never do anything. Yes, it'll get you feeling good again because you're just going to forget about what happened before. Your definitions about what is going on maybe subside a little bit, so your emotion the energy goes away for a while, but it's not gone anywhere. It's still there because that definition, what you were believing to be true about that situation, is still there. So that emotion will always be there, that energy will always be there, and it will just be triggered again at a later date and a greater intensity. So distracting yourself will not do anything. It might do something short term, but long term, it's actually going to make it worse. Suppression is not going to do anything. Even in the short term, it's not going to work, and in the long term, it will definitely not work. So how do you actually deal with emotions, right? You have to come to the awareness first that handling emotions and looking at emotions and feeling emotions is completely safe. It's completely okay. As long as you are in this physical experience, you are going to feel emotions, positive, negative, neutral. And you have to be okay with either side of the scale. Throughout the entire spectrum, be okay with whatever it is that you're currently feeling. Don't be so attached to the positive emotions, and don't be so repelling and resisting against the negative emotions, because then you will remain a puppet of the emotions themselves, never having any control over your experience. This is your experience, so dictate your experience. Be okay with whatever is coming up. Accept and allow whatever is coming up. You still have a preference. You can still prefer positive emotions. We all do. But at the same time, negative emotions serve their purpose. Okay? Anytime you have a negative emotion, it is showing you that you are currently believing something to be true that is not in alignment with the truth, with the higher self perspective of life. There is always the limited perspective, the small self, the ego, right, that we call, which is your personal perspective. Like me, Sunny Sharma, my personal perspective is the ego perspective. But once I'm starting to expand my perspective beyond my personal view, my personal perspective, I'm broadening my view on reality, my view on creation, on life. And by broadening my view, I open myself up to so many different perspectives. And what you'll see is that every perspective feels different. The perspectives that feel good, that feel more expanded, that feel more inspired, that feel positive, that make you feel empowered, that make you feel like the creator of your life, are more in alignment with the universal perspective, God's perspective, higher self perspective, whatever word resonates with you. But the other perspectives that make you feel bad, make you contract, make you fall into kind of a victim mentality, are the perspectives that are not in alignment with that God perspective, that higher self, universal perspective. And because they are not in alignment with that perspective, they feel bad. And negative emotions, all they are signaling to you is that at this current moment in time, you are believing something to be true, right? You have a definition about reality, about yourself, about life, whatever it may be, about the situation, that is not in alignment with the truth. So let's just say you lose your job and you feel so bad. You are in complete agony. That negative emotion is showing you that you're currently believing something to be true about you losing your job right now that is not in alignment with the higher perspective. In that personal perspective of yours, when you lost your job and you thought it was the end of the world, that was not in alignment. But at that time, had you opened up your mind and opened up your perspective to a broader view of reality, you would have seen that maybe that losing this job right now at this moment in time is setting me up for something even better, something that I resonate with even more. It's leading me to my next step, right? But in that time, you were so closed off in your own perspective that you took on a limited perspective of reality, and it felt bad because it was not in alignment with the truth of things, the order of things. And now you felt bad about it. And what'd you do about it? You either distracted yourself or you just waited until that emotion subsided, but you didn't get to the cause of it. So one of the most powerful things that you can start doing when you feel emotions is, number one, realize that it's coming from, how you feel is coming from what you are believing to be true about what is happening. Your emotion is not coming from the outside. No one is making you feel bad. It doesn't matter if someone is cursing at you or calling you names. Those words, that behavior is not making you feel any sort of way. If you believe that what this person is saying is hurtful and that, you give great importance and meaning to what this person is saying to you, and you take it in that negative way, now what you will feel is negative emotions. Whereas this person could be saying the same things to you, the hurtful things that they think that are hurtful, but you could have a positive meaning to them and you would feel something completely different. The definition that you give to what is happening results in the emotion that you get from it. It determines the emotion that comes after. The emotion is never coming from the outside. It is always self-generated. Now, are you going to remain asleep to the fact that you are creating your emotions? Or are you going to wake up and assume this responsibility as the creator of your experience, as the chooser of how you want to feel, of your state of being? Okay, so number one, realize that straight up, that the emotion is not coming from there, and it is coming from a definition, a belief that you have about the current situation, the person, etc. Now, don't run away from the emotion. Feel the emotion. But here's the twist. Instead of your regular way of feeling the emotion, you know how what most people do? Instead of feeling the emotion, really, what they do is they actually just start thinking about the emotion, further creating more definitions about the negative emotion, and further creating more definitions about what is causing them the emotion. So if a person says something bad to you and it made you feel bad, now if I'm saying, okay, feel your emotion, I don't mean think about the emotion, like how bad does this feel? I don't mean think about the person that caused you this emotion. Don't think about the object of the emotion that you think is causing you the emotion. What I mean by feel the emotion is simply feel how it feels. Without believing something to be true about it, simply just feel how this emotion feels in your body. You'll notice that your breath changes when you have a certain emotion. Your heartbeat changes. Literally, the entire chemistry of your body changes when you're having an emotion. So feel how that feels without any judgments or labels or any sort of definitions or beliefs about it. Just allow yourself to feel the emotion. See how it feels. Feel that energy. Simply by this, automatically you might feel a sense of relief that, until now I was running away from this emotion and it had so much power over me. But now literally by just going within this emotion and feeling it for what it is, it's actually not so bad. Because what happens is that the story behind the emotion relaxes. You kind of forget about the story a little bit and just start to feel the energy itself. And by doing so, the energy actually starts to subside. So keep feeling the emotion. And what you're going to do is just breathe into it. Continue to breathe into it more and more and more. While, any single time your mind just ventures off into other thoughts about the emotion or the other person and whatnot, just let it go. Just come back, bring your attention again just on the feeling of how it feels, of the emotion. And you could even visualize that you're literally flowing breath, energy into the emotion. And the emotion is dissipating. The energy of the emotion is dissolving as you're breathing into it. You are fully within the emotion and you're breathing into it, breathing in and out. And as you're breathing out, the emotion is just leaving you. As you're breathing in, you're flowing energy into it. As you're breathing out, the emotion is just leaving you. And what you do is you stay with it as long as you need to. Sometimes you'll notice that if it's just a minute emotion, maybe some nervousness or something like that, if you just do this letting go process, just breathing into it and just feeling it, automatically you won't even be feeling that emotion anymore. The energy behind it will literally dissipate through your awareness. It will dissipate and dissolve and leave you. However, if it's something intense that you're feeling, you're going to have to do this for a longer period of time. And maybe even if you do this for a whole sitting for maybe 10 minutes, the emotion will still be there, but not at a greater, it will definitely be at a lesser intensity. Okay? So this is always beneficial. However, for a greater intensified emotion, when you feel something really strongly, this will work maybe in a longer, over a stretched period of time, again and again with practice. But you stay with it. You continue to breathe into it. You can close your eyes, you can keep them open, whatever. Just stay focused on the emotion, not on thoughts, not on situations, just the energy of the emotion. So you do this for however long you need to, okay? Now, last step, number 3. Anytime you feel any sort of strong emotion, it is very important for you to get to the cause of that emotion. Don't just allow it to flee, and don't now learn anything from that experience. Make it a habit, make it an intention to learn from every single little thing that happens to you in your experience. If you want to expand, if you want to grow, if you want to manifest more, if you want to live the best life that you could possibly live, start by making it an initiative to learn from every single little thing from your experience. So now you had this emotion, right? After you're kind of like away from it and you kind of you're back into your regular mental space with some clarity, ask yourself, man, what was I believing to be true about myself that made me feel this bad? What was I believing to be true about life, about the situation, about this other person that made me feel that way? Get to the definition, get to the cause of that emotion. And when you find that belief that you had, oh, you thought that the job was gonna make you lose something, that losing your job was gonna make you broke, end up on the street, blah, 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 all that, nonsense. See it for how stupid and silly it really is. Even if you think that it is real, see that it is making you feel bad. Therefore, that perspective is out of alignment with God's view, universal view. And therefore, change that perspective. So you losing your job, you could be like, oh, losing this job is setting me up for something even greater, something that I'm going to resonate with even more, something that's going to bring me more joy, bring me more expansion. And that belief will result in a different emotion. You see that? Just by changing the belief you have about something, the cause, the emotion changes. What is the emotion? It is the effect. Don't fight effects with effects. Don't try to change emotions with more emotions. Don't just run away from the effect either. Just go straight to the cause. Change the cause and the effect changes by itself. All right? Number 1, realize that this emotion is being caused by a definition that you have about the particular event. It is not being caused by the outside. Number 2, let go of the emotion by breathing into it, by being with it fully, without labeling it or judging it. Just being with it and allowing the energy to dissipate. Number 3, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What was I believing to be true before that was out of alignment with the truth? Figure that out and change the belief. Shift the perspective. Expand, grow, broaden your view. All right? Let me know if you have any questions about this in the comment section below. Practice this. All right? Give me a thumbs up if this video resonated with you. If you want to further learn more about reality creation, learn how to create the reality that you want and accelerate the time between your desires and their manifestation, click the link in the description box below and get coaching with me one-on-one. All right? Schedule a free call with me so we can decide if it's right for us to work together. But other than that, subscribe to this channel and I will see you in the next video.